This season, a new hot deal has arrived at Metro. $25 a line for 4 lines with all the data you need and 4 free Samsung Galaxy A15 5G phones. Getting Metro's best deals is easy. No ID required, no activation fees. Get a new number or keep your own. It's up to you. That's 4 lines for $25 a line, plus 4 free phones. Visit a store or go online today. Only at Metro by T-Mobile.
When you join Metro Plus Tax, for a limited time and subject to change. Max 1 offer per account.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places. Between payroll, your tax consultant, and the IRS. If your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
I think you're on mute.
Workday starting to sound the same?
I think you're on mute.
Find something that sounds better for your career on LinkedIn. With LinkedIn Job Collections, you can browse curated collections by relevant industries and benefits, like flex PTO or hybrid workplaces, so you can find the right job for you. Get started at linkedin.com/jobs. Finding where you fit. LinkedIn knows how.
I knew it. Another Herdat Media production.
Good morning, Chantel.
Good morning, Roxanne.
So, Chantel, I just have to say something to everyone, and I'm sure people are super annoyed hearing this, but don't be this person. And Chantel's actually this person quite a bit, so I can't wait for her day. But my cousin was married to this woman who like became my best friend. We lived across the street from each other. I literally helped her with her kids every day after high school, and now her kids watch my kids and all that stuff. And every time I go to her house, her kids were sick, and I was like, this is not normal. Like, something is wrong. Your kids should never be sick like this. And I was that person who made comments like that. You guys, I have gotten so much karma over that because my kids are nonstop sick. Remember how I was celebrating that finally my kids have a full week. I'm going to be able to like work in peace and all this stuff. Charlie has been home Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sloan is now home today. So I have Charlie and Sloan today.
I mean, yeah, you guys were on a plane and you guys were in Mexico.
Yeah, they said Jacob took Charlie to the doctors yesterday, and they said that she had some flu.
Oh, so she got the flu. I mean, the flu's going around too, so.
I'm just, but it's like non-stop. And they said that it is contagious. So I'm like, I just cannot have Elle and Jack have it. And then I have this like auction on Saturday that we paid a lot of money to go to for our kids' school. And I'm like, what if like we get it? I don't know. I'm just so annoyed. Luckily, like we don't typically get sick from our kids, but I know people get sick. I don't care. I don't say like, oh my God, your kids are always sick like that. I don't give a shit. That's your family. But the one thing I do say is that like, you guys don't sit there to like, drink coconut water, do these things to get better faster. It's like, you just let it ride out or something. It's like, you just let everyone just be sick. Yeah, I do think I am kind of bad with that. I'm not gonna
so it's like, what can we do to get this quicker, faster? Like, obviously they're gonna get sick, but it's like, what can we do to like, right now, what are you doing to make sure you don't get sick? Are you doing anything? No, that's like what I get annoyed about you. Go get some ginger and turmeric and start drinking teas. Like, you need to do stuff to like boost your immune system, vitamin C, zinc. Like, get yourself on it so you don't get sick.
I know, it's just so frustrating because it really does fall on a mom most of the time. And it sucks because it's like I'm trying to work and then I feel bad. It's like you have I have 2 sick kids and I'm like, oh my gosh.
And they want their mom at the end of the day when they're sick. So
I know, like yesterday I was like cuddling with Charlie in the nighttime and she's like, you're a sweet mom. You take care of me. And I'm like, because that's all they want. And I'm like, when they're sick, they just want their mom. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it is so hard being a working mom. And it is so hard when your kids are in school or like with Jack and Elle, they're finally Elle's better. It took months for her to be better. And I'm like, please, God, do not let her get anything from Charlie and Sloan. So that's my life. That's my
I
life.
just heard her. Did she just say, hey?
Yeah. She's in the room with me. So yeah, that is my life. But you know what? I am excited because we're going out tonight and no, Charlie, please stop. We're going out tonight. And Chantel, we're going out with all the cousins. We haven't done this in a while.
Yeah, we usually go like to someone's house. Like we never really go out to eat or like go out. We just always hang out at a house. So
Yeah.
that makes it interesting. I don't like big dinners though. So like I don't think it's gonna be that much fun, but we'll see.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah.
It's just like you sit with like the 4 people that you're around. And so then it's like not as interactive and fun. And just, I don't know. I just don't like big dinners.
Well, I was like annoyed with how late it was. And it's like, again, like just goes to show you my age is that to me, they book dinner reservations at 7:30, but also I want to
7:30 is so normal.
But I want to find use of it. I always say this, like, I want to like have a break from like being a mom and just go and, go at like 6 or whatever. And I texted Chantel or I voice noted her and I was like, hey, do you want to go early tomorrow? And she's like, fuck no. I'm like, oh, okay. Wow.
Like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you are having it. But I mean, regardless, I am very happy that we are doing something and getting together. I think it'll be good. It's like an Italian place and it's not an Olive Garden, and you know how I feel about
but like those are my least favorite places. So
Olive Garden.
No, Italian places like this. Like I just don't like banquet Italian places. No offense to anybody, but I just don't like this kind of food that much.
I love it.
It's so heavy. It's just
obsessed. I love it so much. That's my one comfort food is Olive Garden or Italian food. So, but I want to talk about Karen Chantel from Potomac before we get into Beverly Hills.
I know. Well, last episode we said that she had the sentencing. People were there. Like, there was Bravo.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, which is so crazy, and I'm so jealous because I find that stuff to be so interesting. There was actually someone who was there, and she goes by I Go podcast. So I'm not sure she's a podcast, but she's on X, and she was doing all the work. She was there and she literally was tweeting everything. So she starts off like play by play. It was crazy. She's like, Karen's lawyer just gave a statement from Karen to the judge that he read silently. I have eyes on Ray, her cousin that was on the show, and I can confirm she has the 613 hair with black roots is also here. Her lawyer is presenting reasons to the judge why she went to the type of recovery center she went to. He said you have to make it appealing for people to step away from their everyday lives, sort of like incentive to get help. By the way, Chantel, did you know that they're saying the recovery center she went to was like a spa?
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Then I Go podcast said she went to a place called Right Turn for 48 hours. It's a place with rooms meant to look like
48 hours only?
No. This is like something else.
Oh, okay.
So this is like outside of it, outside of the recovery center. But so they said that to prepare, she went to a place called Right Turn for 48 hours. It is a place with rooms meant to look like jail cells. So she could experience what that's like. She also has a continuing relationship with her therapist. First off, that would give me more anxiety.
Yeah, I know.
Like I don't want to do that.
I know we were talking about it. Like, obviously you have to pay your crime, but I'm so sad for what happened to her.
See, I am opposite of you, and I will say why, but so here's what else she said. She says she has signed up to participate in a program where she has a handheld breath device. It will require her to blow 4 times a day. The results go to whomever she chooses. Then they say Ray's getting ready to testify. Ray said the kids are a little hurt by this. Her lawyer asked if Ray was aware of everything that Karen has done in the last few months to get help. He said yes. He told the judge Karen is doing very well and has recovered from the accident, and Karen is crying. Ray is 77, by the way. Her lawyer said she's a good person, has been gracious through this experience. He has asked the judge for a suspended sentence, 3 years probation, AA twice per week, make therapy a condition, and another thing, but I couldn't hear because people are rustling around. It says the prosecution isn't really buying the reason given for Karen choosing that recovery spot. Again, the spa. It says prosecution is running down her other offenses and said something has to give. She understands people getting second chances, but this is her fourth. She has got second chances. So we found out, which Robin had put out there, but it wasn't confirmed until prosecutors confirmed. We talked about it on our last episode, that she has had this is her fourth DUI. Okay. And it says, now the lady says, Karen speaking, she apologized for bringing this to trial and was arrogant in thinking she could handle alcohol. The judge is reading Karen's actions on that body cam to filth. The judge said Karen is no stranger to drinking while driving on our roads. When she got PBJ in 2007, one would think Miss Huger learned her lesson. In 2008, before the ink was dry on the other one, she was arrested again. He is not playing. He said Karen had the hang of working the system prior to 2011. All warnings went in one ear and out the other, but she remained undeterred. The judge said, how about a program without a summer condemnation? Oh my God, I don't know how to say that. You guys don't kill me. And then it says Karen has 30 days to appeal this decision and 90 days to ask the judge for a reconsideration to get him to lower it. And then it says Karen was sentenced to 2 years, 1 year probation, but that she is only going to she'll only serve 1 year behind bars.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
That is crazy. So like, is it only 1 year behind bars because sometimes they give you like those days that if you're good behavior, or like, why would they sentence her to 2 and she's only doing 1 then?
I don't know.
Yeah,
how
that was a little weird.
Yeah. Karen did talk about everything once the sentencing. She said that my heart dropped. I don't care about me right now. I care about my children. I care about my family. They are so hurt. So did you think about that when you did this? Okay.
No, she was, I think she was definitely naive. And like, obviously if you can go back, you would change so many things, but like, she definitely was naive and kept thinking about her reputation more than anything else.
And that's how she's always been. Drinking and driving is horrible, right? And it's one thing where I'm like, okay, it happened one time. It's still not okay, but like we can give her some grace. Like she is, but you know, she's really having a hard time about this.
Yeah,
this is her fourth time. This is her fourth time. She has not taken this seriously. She can afford an Uber. I mean, how old is she that she's like sitting there drinking and driving anyways? And then her kids are like grown ass kids. Okay. We don't even see them on the show. They're so grown. And so like, I mean, how hurt could they possibly be? You still decided to do this. I just don't understand it. And clearly like you drink and you are not someone who's capable of driving. Like, I don't know. She's 61 years old doing this shit. And I don't know why I thought she was so much older, probably because her husband is 77. So I forget that they have such like a difference in age, but I just don't feel bad for her. I heard that people are comparing this to like the Jen Shah stuff and say like people give Jen Shah grace. I don't give Jen Shah grace. I don't know why anybody gives Jen Shah grace. Okay. Like I'll never understand the Jen Shah.
I don't think a lot of people do either, because there was like a Reddit page of like, who do you think is the most like horrible, housewife to ever exist? And everyone's like Jen Shah, Jen Shah, Jen Shah. Like no one gives her grace.
Well, then people were also comparing this to Teresa and saying like, and I don't know if they're saying like Karen doesn't deserve to be in jail. Like, look what Teresa did. If anyone genuinely, truly believes that Teresa did anything, I think that you are crazy. I think something is wrong, because you've had Kyle Richards. You've had people like me. You've had people say, if
Wendy, even from Potomac.
Oh yeah. Wendy, who's very smart, who has said, if my husband told me to sign something, I'm signing it. You, on one hand, we talk about how people say that Teresa doesn't like, isn't as smart. Like she doesn't check things, but apparently like she was so smart to check what her husband was doing and, to really get a lawyer to sign what her husband was asking her to sign. No, it's not comparable. Teresa literally did nothing. But the difference with Teresa and Karen is that Teresa, I feel, is very strong. She's like us. Where, I mean, she's not like a victim. She kind of just,
she takes it on the chin and she's like, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to go and I'm going to make this a positive somehow.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't think it's like even about like like, it's just like, this is my life. Like I have to do it, Whereas in Karen, she was very arrogant. She did take this to trial. Had she pled guilty, she probably would have gotten just probation. She probably would have gotten like 60 days. She wouldn't even have even done it because our court system, like it's all fucked up. She wouldn't have even done it. And she was so confident that that something is wrong with you. Like you're so arrogant if you think after a 4th DUI, you're going to take some shit like this to trial and think people are going to have your back.
Yeah, no, I know.
What is wrong with you?
I know. Even after one, I'm sorry. Like people don't have any second chances. Like I've seen people who've only had one and they go to jail. So it's like, you're lucky that you never went to jail those other 3 times.
Yeah, no. So disappointed on how she handled it. So disappointed on even like at the reunion, how she reacted to it. Like, I just feel like nothing was sincere about anything. So yeah, I think justice has been served. And I think this is where you have to, Chantal, we need to like have a self-awareness class where we talk to housewives. Like, literally teach them self-awareness. I don't get it.
Because I think the thing is like they have so many people on their side and they have so many yes people and like, or they just have people that are not going to be willing to tell them the truth. Or like if they hear from their friend, they're like, yeah, whatever. But then like if they hear from and say, this is what the public or this is what your fans will be thinking, maybe they would change their mind. I don't know.
Yeah. But that is
that's crazy though, man.
You know, it really is. That is my take on, because some of you guys were like, are you guys going to talk about it? We want to hear your thoughts on it. And yeah, I'm not caught up with Summer House because again, my kids, have been sick, so I didn't watch. So I love to watch that, but I did watch Beverly Hills, and I am.
We haven't talked about the last 2 episodes, so a lot of the things that happened this last episode, were a continuation from the other episode that we didn't talk about. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I am so disgusted, and I'm glad that people are now starting to see what we've been saying about Sutton.
Wait, you know what's crazy? Because, okay, it's no surprise. I don't like Sutton. I'm never going to be on her side. But after this episode, like she's disgusting. But like, what, like, the question I want to ask you is that, okay, like what's worse, being called cheap or being called like a drunk and a bipolar person needs to take pills?
Let me tell you something, Chantal. Sutton has been coming for Dorit since the beginning, when Dorit has done nothing to her this season. She is coming. She has taken the fact that she's been liked a couple of seasons. And the reason, and I even talk about this with one of our listeners, and the reason that people like really did love Sutton was because it was when they were going for the Fox 5. They were going against those people who weren't likable at the time. So everyone was like, she's great. Now they don't have that. Okay. And everyone's like, fair game. And so Dorit literally has her husband who has left her and is going through the hardest time of her entire life. Like she is saying that, yes, my life is so fucked up right now. And Sutton keeps coming for her. But then if Dorit says anything back, it's a problem. Like, no, Sutton does drink a lot, which is fine. She always does drink. I mean, let's not forget when she walked into someone's house and she literally had a drink in her bag, even though there was liquor there. So she does drink. And I'm sorry, that is horrible about her dad and everything. I'm not saying that it isn't, but it also has nothing to do with Sutton. Like, I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with it. If someone keeps coming for me, Chantal, and they keep coming and they keep coming, and I notice that every time they're coming and they're bold, they're drinking, I'm going to fucking say something and be like, maybe you put that drink down.
Yeah. And I mean, like Faye said in this past episode too, she's like, I drink a lot like her, it's like, it's not, there's no problem, I think, unless you make it a problem, but it just, yeah, I don't know. It's so hard because I don't really like Sutton at all. And I do think she is treating Dorit unfairly, but I also think Dorit has went hard as well on her.
I think Dorit is so over her. I wanted to touch on the beginning of the episode though, because Kyle is like speaking to a therapist and she's like seriously struggling with this Mauricio thing. And the thing that confuses me about Kyle is her tone to Mauricio last year. On the prior season to this season, like she was a complete different person where she was making it known. Like she wanted us to know that Mauricio is not this guy that we think he is, that their marriage is not what.
What if I told you that eating healthy didn't have to mean meal prep, grocery shopping, or spending hours in the kitchen? That's exactly why I love Factor. They're fresh, never frozen meals are crafted by chefs and approved dietitians so you can enjoy delicious, nutritious food with zero effort. I'll be honest, before Factor, I used to struggle with making balanced meals. I'd either spend too much time cooking or end up grabbing something not the best or not that healthy just because it's quick. But Factor has completely changed that for me. Now I just open the fridge, heat up a meal in 2 minutes, and boom, gourmet, restaurant quality food that fits my goals. With over 40 menu options, including keto, protein plus, and calorie smart, sticking to a healthy routine has never been easier. And it's not just meals. Factor has amazing smoothies, snacks, and breakfast to keep you fueled all day. I just had the spicy turkey poblano bowl, and wow, it was packed with flavor, had the perfect amount of heat and spice. You guys know I love spicy food. And honestly, the best part, no chopping, no dishes, just great food and fast. So take the stress out of eating healthy. Go to factormeals.com/TRH50 off and use code TRH50 off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's TRH off at factormeals.com/TRH50 off for 50% off and free shipping in your first box.
We think it is. Like he was being so nice and being so great to her and cute with her, and she wanted nothing to do with it. And at the time, this was when all the Morgan stuff was coming out. So I personally feel like she did this so that people were like, okay, no wonder she's with Morgan, and look at it that way. But she was like so harsh with him, and he's like, what's wrong? Like he definitely looked like he was trying. This year, she says that, he wasn't trying. Just because he's nice doesn't mean you're trying. Like when, I asked him to go to therapy by himself. And she's like, and, like he obviously didn't want to do the work. And she's just like really struggling. And I don't know. I think it's because she was last year in this like honeymoon stage with Morgan. So she like thought it was going to work. She was like really excited about it. And now she doesn't know what's happening with that. So it's all hitting her at once. Like, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes, okay, like right now, like I was trying to think about like in our situations, maybe like if we all of a sudden were like, like F this, like I'm not feeling the love or whatever she wasn't feeling. She was feeling different. She was feeling all these things. And you start to have this like empowerment. And that's like what she had last year was like this empowerment to say these things, to say like, I don't think like our marriage is working. And then, but like you do that though. And then like, you don't get someone fighting for you, then you just feel defeated after that. Then you're like, shit, like maybe it is like, and then it's all coming to her now. Like, holy shit, like my marriage is coming to an end. I didn't think about all the consequences of this happening. And he really didn't fight for me. So like, he really didn't love me as much as I thought he did.
I don't know. Yeah. And
I think it's okay for her to be on this high from last year of like, feeling herself or feeling this empowerment of her, like making the decision. And then also now saying like, dude, he didn't fight for me. Like even if he didn't like what I did to him last year, he didn't just sit me down and say, stop it. What are you doing? Why are you like ruining our family? Like snapping her out of it almost. Like he didn't do any of that. He just kind of let her be and let her do what she wanted to do. And he kind of was like, okay. It's like it was easy for him. She feels like, I'm saying.
I don't know. I just like wish we could hear his side, because what if he did say, I want to be with you. Like, I want to make this work. And I mean, marriage is hard, dude, to do this 30 years later.
Yeah. Cause like saying, I want to be with you, but then there's no action. Like how many times do we hear, the guys doing stuff like that? It's like, you want to see the change. You want to see action.
But when you look at their relationship, he was very respectful towards her. They had a lovely relationship. Yes, he worked a lot. I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't strong enough to leave. But again, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. You guys portrayed this perfect relationship. Okay. That was what was portrayed to us. So that's why it's hard looking back at it.
Yeah, it really is hard to pinpoint and say like, okay, this is it, this is that. Even with her talking, it's like, okay. But like when she is talking, I can kind of see sometimes some of her side of like how that would be frustrating. But I think it's hitting her that she's just going to be alone.
But Chanel, I could see that stuff too, except I don't know. Like I could see it too, but the way you guys portrayed this relationship, like it's not adding up. So you had such a strong relationship. You had such respect for each other. You guys like had PDA, like you guys were very lovey-dovey. You guys were very supportive of one another. That was your best friend. And so I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what happens behind closed doors, but they portrayed something so that when she talks about this, none of it's adding up, where it's like, I mean, let's look at the pros and cons here. It seems like there's far more pros in this relationship than cons.
Yeah, I want them to get back together, but I don't think they will ever. And once you give
He's
someone
living his best life.
yeah, exactly. Once you give distance, and then now you could do whatever the F you want. There's no really that much responsibility. Your kids are grown. And you got and they still have a good relationship. So like he's kind of, they may be bold, but more him is eating his cake, too. And like he's, they can do family dinners still, and they can all like love each other. And like when it's a birthday, they all get together and like do these things, but he can live his best life and live in his own home and not have to hear anything. Like, okay, sign me up.
Right. What do we think about Bose trying to have another baby? And she seemed like she had a hard time in her 30s having a kid.
I don't get it, because we've already got back to, going back to the relationship of like them not even saying I love you yet to each other. It's like we're skipping so many steps just to have a child that it's like we don't even know if you can.
But you know what it is
Very
too?
healthy way.
I think about Bose and I think about the fact that she's a fucking badass, right? Like she literally has the most impressive resume. She's a boss. And she is probably one of those people who made you don't become a boss unless work is your life. Like literally work is your life and nothing else. And she probably was like that and missed out on things, or maybe not missed out on things, but wasn't able to like just be a mom and just like focus on being a mom, which nothing's wrong with either. But I feel like now that she has like, she retired, right? Or she's not, she
does her own, like she does her own business.
She's on her own. She probably is like, this is the time, like I'm at my most comfortable. I'm the boss. Like I can now step back and just like be a mom and focus on being a mom. And I understand that. And that's why I always like worry about I told you about the pages of the world who like are so about their job. But I mean, you can have kids later in life too. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with her wanting to have a kid. I just think don't rush it too much. Like figure out your relationship first, and then the kid will come.
I know.
Like she's gonna have to probably do IVF regardless. So it's like you're gonna have to do this journey, and so like just like take 6 months to really make sure that this is your partner that you want, that you guys say these things to each other, you guys show each other, and then like you guys are gonna become. Is he gonna move? Like he doesn't even live. He lives in like 4 hours away from her. So it's like, is he gonna move when he has this kid? Like, what are you guys doing?
I saw a video. I saw a video on TikTok. And like, I do think, it's important, kind of what you were saying, like they haven't said I love you to each other. You want to know who you're going to like be raising a kid with each other, with. And I saw this video of this like girl, this like little girl. She was like on vacation with her dad for a week and her mom was filming it, which like, sometimes this is annoying that they do this, but she walks in and she's like, mommy. And she's like, I missed you. And she like, her mom's holding her and she's crying. And she's like, I miss you so much, mom. And her mom's like, but did you have fun? She's like, yes, but I just kept thinking about you. And I just wanted you there. And I missed you. And that's like the negatives of having a kid with someone that you don't know for sure, like, like divorce, or like in her situation, you're not even saying I love you yet. And you're about to have a kid with this guy.
Yeah. I think it's way too fast. Fast. I want to talk about real quick though, like the episode before this, because I really want to know your thoughts on the only like part that I thought was so juicy and interesting was like obviously when they were at Dorit's house for the 4th of July party, and Bose does go like, Sutton wants to leave, and so they're by the door, and Bose goes over there, and it was like, why are you guys by the door? And then like Garcelle pipes up and goes like crazy at her, and like, why are you a Dorit spokesperson? Like, what did you feel about the whole episode of them like doing that to her? Like really like telling her like, you're a Dorit spokesperson, stop sticking up for her. Like they are so, and I think Erica said it. She's like, they're so threatened by the Bose and Dorit relationship that they don't know how to act.
I think they're haters because Bose is a boss ass bitch and they want to be her friend. And they didn't.
The biggest haters.
Yeah. They didn't expect Bose to be with Dorit, and Bose is like someone who's self-made, right? So it's like, you can't even talk shit to Bose because she'll fucking shit on your life. Like she'll literally shit on you. So to have someone like that in your corner, like Dorit has Bose in her corner, they're like okay, this sucks. Like our plan's not working. Like she has someone who is super bright, who has self-awareness, like, you know, who could eat us up to filth and be like, why do you guys care? And who will speak up and doesn't care if they speak up. And so I think that is the problem. And it's funny Garcelle saying that because the same could be said for Sutton. Again, I always say this, Sutton and Garcelle's friendship is like a friendship that was made out of convenience, where I think that Bose and Dorit actually like each other.
Yeah, and it is funny. It is funny from someone for Garcelle to say that when like she was the one always sticking up for Sutton or always trying to like be her spokesperson. So it's like, why are you guys so jealous?
So jealous. They're such haters because they want that attention from Bose. That's really what it is. Like,
or they don't want Bose to give it to Dorit. Like they hate Dorit so much that they don't want her to give it to Dorit.
Yeah, and to have like a Bose in your corner, I'm telling you, that's powerful in a show like this.
I'm really curious to see like at the reunion, like how they portray this and like how she can like answer for herself, because I really do think it's like so messed up how they made it seem like, you know, all you do is stick up for Dorit, but it's like, no, she really doesn't. And like she's sticking up for what she thinks is right in the situation.
Yeah, no, 100%. So I mean, what did you think about Sutton like sitting down waiting for Dorit at her party?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was weird that she's waiting in the house like that and Dorit's not coming down, but also like, why aren't you joining the party?
Right.
Go outside, get a drink, you know, but like, I don't know. There are these Beverly Hills
girls. Was
girls,
anyone outside?
Yeah, there were so many people. She clowns like, oh, the babysitter or something. I don't know, but it's like there was all the vendors there. And so, you know, the Beverly Hills girls, though, they want to be like greeted. And I get that, but it's like also, yeah, I get it. And Dorit's always late. So
just so you know, Bravo's messy. They coordinate who shows up first, who shows up second, who shows up third. So they knew that Dorit was falling behind, and then they had Sutton go in first, knowing that Sutton would get irritated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all a coordinated thing.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like that's 100% a fact. They coordinate these things. That's why you're always like wondering, why did this housewife show up last? Why did this housewife show up first? So they coordinate that whole thing, and knowing that it would trigger Sutton. But like you said, go outside.
Yeah, go get a drink, go do something. Like, why are you just waiting there, you know? And it was it was so awkward. It was awkward.
Yeah. So another point, another thing that happened is obviously like when they all get together at Jennifer Tilly's caviar party.
I like her, by the way. I know she doesn't bring that much, but like even just like her jewelry and her clothes and like what the stuff that she like is all about, like the rich stuff. I like her.
I do too, because we don't need someone who's like always drama and just trying to like reach and fight. We don't need that. So I don't mind her. And so she's hosting a party. I mean, she has money. That's great. She's hosting a party. And obviously we know that Sutton is upset with Dorit because, you know, Dorit had mentioned when Sutton asked for a drink, or had said, made a statement that like, of course there's alcohol in it, basically, if Sutton is going to be drinking it. And Sutton is livid about this statement. So,
and do you think when you are being so aggressive about the fact that you're mad, that shows you're guilty, or that you're just trying to stick up for yourself and say, stop like portraying me as this alcoholic? Because I do feel like if it was someone else on another show, we'd be like, that is rude. Like, why are they saying that to her, making it seem like she's an alcoholic when she's not? But also like,
I don't like that. I don't think it makes someone guilty. I don't think just because you defend yourself, it makes you guilty.
Yeah.
Everyone handles things wrong. And some people could be passionate about the fact that like, this is so not true. Like, of course I'm going to defend myself, you know? So I don't think it makes you guilty. I just think this is a show where anything you say, you have to take it and you're going to like be like, this is it, and make it the biggest thing ever. Like, they're on a show and they all know they have to do that. So that's what I think it is. And Sutton's goal is to make Dorit look bad. And I don't think Dorit saying that is a bad thing, just because I don't like how Sutton's treated Dorit at all this season.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, she has a fucking point. Like, get off of her. You had this like.
And it was more, and to me, like, I know, like, it was more of a joke when the way she's saying it, like, because she said it to Garcelle, like, of course, you know, there is, but it obviously was a poor joke, but it was a joke. It wasn't meant to be taken so serious. And I do think, like, she even explains it that, like, if, you know, someone's like, I don't like that you said that, instead of calling her like the B word, she would have been a little bit more like gentle about it.
Yeah. Well, so Sutton does call it out and she brings it up and she basically like shits on Dorit and says, you don't like fight with me or you don't talk to me if you don't have my wallet size. And
She went there, y'all. She went there. She went and basically called her poor or like you're way more poor than I am, and don't sit with me, which was so distasteful.
I'm loving Erica because Erica's like, wait, what does money have to do with any of this? Like Erica's seen both. Like, what does that have to do with any of it? It was like, why are you?
They all were like, whoa. All of them like had that face like shit. She just went there.
This is what the reason I love Beverly Hills is because they have money. So they don't need to talk about it. Okay. They're not hiring people who like are the middle class person. Like they're hiring people who have money. So they're rich. And even Kyle, like the one thing about Kyle is so paid. And she says when she heard Sutton say that, she's like, I was embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because it really is so cringe. Kyle's never had to say, I have money. I have this, I have that. Like, why would she? She doesn't need to. We already fucking know. So she doesn't need to throw it in their faces. Everyone knows. And Kyle is, I will say, she is very humble. So she even said that was so embarrassing. And I would have felt the same thing. I would have been like, that's so embarrassing. And
it's so embarrassing because like that's what it just goes to show that like that's all you care about. Like your self-worth is that you have money and from your ex-husband. I mean, I don't want to go and say like that's, she shouldn't have that because like I do think what you build with your husband is yours too. But it's like you shouldn't like the way that she portrays herself, like she had a good divorce. Like who the hell says they have a good divorce? Like you're weird.
Yeah. You got
divorced, Bill.
Yeah. On her after show, Sutton says, in the moment, I don't regret it. I was mad. I reacted in a very aggressive way with the lowest insult that I could come up with in my brain. And then she says that Dorit is one of the phoniest people that she's ever met, from pretending to have fancy clothes, jewelry, and designer handbags to allegedly owing money elsewhere. She's like,
They're talking about her bankruptcy of her house.
Yeah. She says, She says, if she had come to us and said, y'all, you know what? We're in a financial struggle. I'm in a marriage that's not working. It would be more likable and relatable to me. But to pretend like everything is perfect and then all of a sudden it's not, that's what my problem is with her. And it's like, okay, but like, doesn't everyone do that?
And like, why would she come to your ass? Like, why would she come to you out of all people? Like, shut up.
Right, exactly.
Because so you can't wait to pounce on her. You literally every season go for the one that's the weakest, and you would make her feel stupid for it.
Yeah. And she's done that already. I mean, like she had that conversation with Sutton where she's like, or Sutton had that conversation with Dorit where she's like, listen, I'm here for you. I'm going to be here for you. Like I've been through a divorce. And then literally she shit on her the next episode and was like, you are obviously very miserable going through stuff, and just like threw it in her face. And Sutton talked about her divorce on the after show. She's like, I've made a lot of changes in my life since I got divorced. I struggle with my Augusta house all the time. It's a lot to upkeep. I just made a decision to move from and I know this sounds real stupid, but I'm still being very honest. My apartment in New York, I downgraded so I can live the way I want to in an honest way. Basically saying that Dorit doesn't live in an honest way.
But it's like, you know what? Like, okay, then let her do that. Like, why are you so concerned? We know so many people that literally like live paycheck to paycheck, but they look like they're so rich in our area because like that's what they care about. They care about driving the nice car. They care about wearing the nicest clothes and the brand names. And like if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. Like we're not sitting there calling her wealthy. No one's calling Dorit wealthy.
Right. And no one thinks it. Like literally
no one thinks it. So like who cares if she wants to sit there and wear, if that's important to her and she wants to wear those things.
Yeah. So
kind of like the same thing, like all the girls going crazy at Jen, like, from OC, like when she wanted to like wear a designer dress, like God forbid she does that if she doesn't have the money yet from her ex-husband. It's like everyone leave people alone with what they want to wear.
Yeah. She says, and then so Dorit responded on the after show and she's like, I know how low Sutton is capable of going. And she's like, it's the same woman who abruptly interrupted me when I was pouring my heart out about my child. And then Kyle actually was really irritated about, what Sutton did too. And she's like, how did you get your money, son? It's not exactly bragging rights. Are we basing our value on who we are as a person by how much money is in our bank account? And then Bose said, if you're really trying to have some class, you don't talk about money like that.
Exactly.
And it's completely true.
Did Garcelle say anything about like this whole situation? Because I want to know what Garcelle says. Like, you don't have anything to say about your friend saying something like that?
I didn't see Garcelle say anything. I don't know. I haven't seen yet. But like, I mean, she stayed silent, and that goes to show you, because she is someone who would say, who's gotten mad for things that were far less serious or offensive. So it's like, I don't know. She stayed silent. So
Dorit went in her confessional, and that's when she goes and says the thing about like, or she tells Kyle like she needs to go take her pills and like blah blah blah, all those things. And did you on the after show did Sutton say anything? Because I didn't watch the after show.
No, I don't see anything
Okay.
about it. But Kyle is disappointing me this season, because if roles were reversed and Dorit was, you know, or if Kyle was getting crapped on by Sutton and Dorit just like stood there and didn't say anything, you just know Kyle would be so mad.
But their relationship is not the same, so it's like kind of hard.
She's still good. She still expects
Sutton this season, so it's like hard for her. But like, it is funny though that like, you know, she can't do that, but then like Dorit is sticking up for Kyle and saying like, you cussed her out for leaving the home and you left my home, and like no one says anything to you, you know. So it's funny that, you know, Dorit is still sticking up for Kyle.
Dorit is just going through so much. I mean, with her husband leaving her, and she obviously wanted to stay with him. And then I just feel like Sutton has literally been kicking her when she's down. And nothing I hate more than someone who kicks someone when they're down. Like, that tells me so much about your character when you do stuff like that.
What do we feel about this whole like and you guys, like, this is why I can't stand Sutton, by the way. Like, I really don't like her, and I never liked her, because the way she takes things, like, example, she's supposed to be Kyle's best friend, and then she sits there, like, we find out this whole Mauricio stuff, you know, and Kyle didn't know that this was going to happen, like him kissing the girl, and she comes up with this crazy fucking theory. Did you believe her theory, or think her theory was like even remotely?
You know, I would love to get a paparazzi person on our podcast. Like,
that would be smart.
Because it sounds like no one talks about this, but they kind of talk about this. And every photo that is taken of you at a gas station, of you at random spots, you are coordinating that. And they point that out, and they basically say that about this, about Kyle when it came to the Morgan stuff. So they think that, you know, with this Mauricio picture at the airport in Europe, that this was also coordinated. And
like a year later, let me get my revenge on my ex-wife. Like, it's just so silly.
But why would it, unless it was some random person taking the photo? How would it
like it was very high res? It was not high res. It was like, we're like, who is that? Is that Mauricio? Like, it didn't even look like paparazzi.
Yeah, but it's like also like they did. I mean, Sutton did say, so or I don't know who was, but they were like, I've been at that airport with Jennifer Aniston, and no one's taking pictures of her. But like, it's just kind of like, yeah, like, how would they know that Mauricio is gonna land at the airport and they're gonna get a shot of a girl that's like half naked kissing him? Which, like, why are we even asking? Like, I mean,
I just don't see the why in there, you know. But like, that's just how I am.
That's why I want like a paparazzi person. I mean, we had Kyle out here, literally like kissing Morgan, or just
but like that's weird. But at the same time, that's like when headlines broke. So like, paparazzi is following her, probably wanting to see what she's gonna do, because that's the biggest story right now. Like, it's not like right now, like, okay, we haven't seen her in a picture with Morgan in a minute, because probably no one cares.
No, I don't think it's because nobody cares. I think she's being a lot more low key about it, because she said, see, here's the thing. She said Morgan realized she doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. Like, she doesn't want to be a part of the show. So guess what? We don't hear Morgan's name on the show. Now that Morgan doesn't want to be a part of it, we are not seeing publicly them together. But we are seeing that, like, when they went and visit Teddy, she was there. Kyle was just at Morgan's concert. So, but we're not seeing paparazzi photos. Why are we not seeing paparazzi photos of them together when they're still hanging out together? Because Morgan's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So it's like, did you agree to do it like last year? Or was it like fun? It was like honeymoon stage that you didn't care?
I don't know. I would love to get a paparazzi person on, because like, I'm the naive girl that doesn't think that like a lot of people, like, I think a lot of people call, and I also think there's moments that people don't call.
Yeah, I know. That's why it would be very, very interesting. So to be continued. But you guys, I think we're going to do a video on our Patreon. Make sure, if you're not on our Patreon, you guys do join us there. We do 2 additional episodes, and all our episodes are ad free, so you don't have to deal with the ads. And we have like a great community there, and a chat and all that fun stuff. But I think that's all that we have for today. We got to get our day started. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we hope you guys have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye.